I never know what I'm gonna do for these videos until I just get started, and I just decided that this one is going to be about how to use journaling for self-help. And I'm gonna let my best friend there not make my other best friend, my other dog, jealous. And I'm going to start by saying that journaling is really good for a lot of symptoms. The main one that I use it for is for anxiety. Journaling is really good for anxiety because the main symptom of anxiety is racing thoughts, or the most common symptom. And the best way to combat that is to get those thoughts out of your head and onto paper. You can have a big journal. You can have a little journal, but something that you can write in longhand, not type in, and not kind of speak into your phone, but doing something that gets the thoughts out, where you have to write out one sentence after the other: subject, verb, object, preposition, adverbs, adjectives. Those are the things that you need to write down and to get your thoughts out on paper so that you can go back and read them. The next thing that you would do after that would be to use something like cognitive behavioral therapy. You can bring your journal writings to therapy, which is awesome and really helpful for the therapist to help you. And it's good for you because many times what I hear from people, especially from kids when they come, teenagers especially, is they say, well, all this stuff happened, but I forgot. It seemed like a big deal at the time, but I think I'm okay now. Or I think it was a big deal and I don't know if I worked it out, but I just can't remember what it was. So writing things out, bringing them to therapy is really, really helpful. It helps you in the moment to get those thoughts externalized so that they're not just swimming in your brain and you don't know what really is going on. You can't separate one thought from the other. And also you don't know, there's a huge connection, kind of an often invisible connection between your thoughts and your feelings and your actions. That's the CBT triangle. See my other posts about that. So there's what I think, what I feel, and what I do. And so what I think is the racing thoughts, what I call the squirrel on the wheel, just turning around and around in your thoughts. And when you get them out on paper, you get them out so you can see them, and you have to take the time to slow them down. And then you bring them to therapists so you don't have to remember them, and then you can jog your memory, in therapy, and go back and say, oh, this is what was going on, this is what I was feeling. And even if you think you're over it, it's going to be really helpful to talk about in therapy usually, because by bouncing those ideas off of another person, you're going to find newer insight. You can learn to see those thoughts and those things that are happening on paper in a new way, such as using cognitive errors or faulty thinking or thinking traps, mind reading, catastrophizing, generalizing, emotional reasoning, black and white thinking, filtering. Those are all examples of thinking traps, things that everybody does, but we need to learn how to recognize, and we need examples. And so journaling helps you. Just writing out stream of thought, bringing it to therapy, reading it over, helps you objectify those things and point them out and label them. That's an important step in the process of cognitive behavioral therapy, which is learning how to manage your thoughts and thereby control and manage your feelings and behaviors. So there's why I like to use it for anxiety. It's good for a lot of things, just processing, emotional processing. Of course, if you're feeling depressed, sad, writing it out can just help you organize. Some people use it as a record to say, well, it's helpful for me to go back and and see, what was I feeling at the time? Am I doing any better? Am I feeling any better? So it gives you a record day to day that you can go back and read if you want to. That's all I'm going to say about that for now. Consider journal writing, journal keeping. If you're worried about, especially this is for the teenagers, if you're worried about somebody finding your journal, you can always, one, ask your therapist. This is what I do with a lot of teens, and work with the family and say, your child needs to have something that where they can put their thoughts, and you're not going to criticize it, read it. It's something for them that they can use as an outlet, and it's sacred and it's not for you, so keep out. Or if that doesn't work, then you could always write it out and rip it up afterwards, and there can be something really cathartic in that too. So keep a journal, everybody. Keep well, and see ya.